Welcome back to Cooking Canines and Chaos, where we're still doing all the work and the dogs are still absolutely no help. On today's menu, we are having stuffed peppers.
Okay, so I'm going to make some peppers out on the Blackstone. So I'm going to first get my peppers ready. I'm going to cut it in half. Okay, so I brought my pepper back over from the sink. I got the seeds cleaned out, and I cleaned out a lot of that kind of, I don't know, the membrane, I guess. And it's just kind of bitter, so I like to clean that out. And I've got peppers. I'm going to kind of just stack them on my tray. And once I get them all cut up, I'll take them outside.
D.O.G. is my BFF. D.O.G. is my BFF.
Okay, so now I've got all of my bell peppers cut up and ready to go. You'll see that we have orange, red, and yellow. Those are kind of our favorites. The green ones aren't anybody's favorite. They're a little bit more bitter. But I would love to know in the comments if you have a favorite color of bell pepper. I like yellow or white onions for this, but if you liked like red onions, I think that would be also perfectly fine. It's really just whatever you like. But I wouldn't leave them out. I would add an onion because it adds a little extra flavor. I'm gonna leave these in like fairly good sized pieces because I want them to be present in the blend of like the meat and stuff. So I'm just gonna cut in half-ish. Okay, so I'm gonna leave my onion just like that, and then my last thing before I go out and turn my Blackstone on and get it heating up is gonna be just to mince up a couple of cloves of garlic. And I'll do that. So before I take these out to the Blackstone that I have preheating, I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil on them and just a little bit of salt and pepper, nothing too crazy. Okay, so I'm gonna turn my heat down just a little bit on the side where I'm gonna put my peppers because they're gonna hang out over there while I kind of cook everything else. So maybe about halfway. It's still gonna be pretty warm. But that way they don't kind of like scorch on the bottom. And I probably will also flip my peppers at one point in time so that we get a little bit of like browning on the top too. But to start, I'm just gonna set them on here. And then kind of clustering them together. And what I want to do is have them all fit underneath the lid here, just like that. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my water bottle and I'm going to spray some water in here and create some steam that'll help soften the peppers. So I'm going to go ahead and get my onions on here. And I'm going to put a little bit of water on these too.
Smells good already.
No, that's like one of my favorite smells.
Smells like we're at the fair right now, which anytime you roll up to a fair, well, anytime I roll up to a fair, that's the first scent that I pick up on. Like a lot of people, I think it's probably like cotton candy or whatever. No, for me, it's the frying onion.
And the cheese curds. Well, for me.
Well, yeah.
So on my onions, I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil. Again, just for a little bit of flavor. Helps a little bit with browning too. And then I'm just going to take some kosher salt and throw that on there as well. Again, we're building flavor as we go. So a little bit of seasoning in kind of each layer. So I'm letting my onions kind of get nice and caramelized. I'm going to add garlic to them as they get a little bit closer. If you add the garlic too early, it gets really bitter. So we don't want that, especially fresh garlic. So we don't want to do that. So we will add our garlic kind of towards the end. But as my onions start to get a lot more color and a lot more like brown, I will add my ground beef next to it and get that starting too. But I want these to cook a little bit longer because we like really cooked onions. So now I've got my onions are starting to get a lot of nice brown caramelization going on there. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to start cooking my beef. And I'm going to leave this like this because I actually want the bottom to get some nice, like, again, like that caramelization, that nice flavor. So I'm going to leave it just like this. I'm going to go grab my seasonings and I'll be back. So I've gone ahead and as my beef is finishing cooking here and I have my garlic mixed in with my onions, I mixed it or cooked it for about probably a minute. Just until the garlic is like fragrant, you can kind of tell that it's getting that kind of cooked flavor to it. Mix them together. I mentioned it earlier, but I left my onions a little bit larger. We really like onions, especially cooked onions. And so for us, having that like texture flavor of having a piece of onion is fine. If that's not really your favorite, you could certainly cut your onions up smaller. So now that these parts of my filling are cooked, I'm gonna go ahead, get them in a bowl here. Okay, so I've got that in there. I'm gonna really quickly flip my peppers over because I'm gonna come back out and we're gonna put the stuffing in them. They are nice and soft. And they're really soft. Just like that. I'm going to turn my heat down all the way because I don't really want these to cook a lot more. And I'm going to run inside, get my filling put together, and come back out. Okay, so I've got my meat, onions, and garlic mixture here. I'm going to add to that about 2 cups of your preferred marinara sauce, whatever that might be. Dump that in there. And then a cup of cooked rice. And then we will dump that in there as well.
And that was the magic that was going on inside the house when she was outside that.
So I'm just gonna mix this together. And I mentioned earlier that we have like other variations of stuffed peppers that we like to make, but I think it's always really fun to hear what other people have created, and so if you have a favorite version of a stuffed pepper, I would love to hear about it, and like let me know what your recipe is, because I would love to try it someday. Okay, and now that's all mixed together, and we're gonna go back outside and we're gonna get this into our peppers. Okay, so maybe you heard the dogs barking in the background. Whenever we open a bag of cheese in this house, it is cheese tax. And so we have to take a little sprinkle of cheese and put it on the floor, and they clean it up like little Hoover vacuums. That's why they're the sous chefs. Okay, so we're back outside. I've got my filling here, and also probably like, I don't know, 1.5 cups to 2 cups of mozzarella cheese. We'll see how much we use. We might not use it all, but that's just for the top. And so all I'm going to do, and it's okay if you make a mess, is I'm just going to fill these peppers up with my filling. And I'm kind of finishing up here. I'll take whatever I have left in my bowl and just kind of distribute it across my peppers, make sure everybody gets a good amount of filling here. And then our final step, before we put our lid back on and get the cheese nice and melty, we're just going to sprinkle probably, I don't know, that's probably about 1/4 cup or so of cheese on top. And this is another time where I would say if mozzarella isn't your favorite, I like mozzarella because it melts really well and I just think it looks really nice, but you could use any kind of cheese. You could use Colby Jack, you could use cheddar, whatever you prefer. And then I'm just going to cover these back up so that cheese gets nice and melty. Okay, so it's probably been, I don't know, 2 or 3 minutes or so. I've actually cleaned the other side of my Blackstone while we were waiting, and these look fantastic. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to get these off of the heat, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to have dinner. And the nice thing about this, it's all in one. You've got your veggie, you've got your protein, you've got a little bit of cheese, and a whole lot of yum.